Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Stu. Stu is from Bristol in England, in the UK. So let's see what Stu has to say. Enjoy the interview. So tell me, how are you today, Stu?
I'm all right. Yeah, I finished work about an hour ago. So yeah, just raced home, had some dinner, and then jumped on
Oh,
here. But yeah, I'm doing okay. It was quite a chill day. How about you?
okay. Yes, the same as well, the same, very busy. I love being busy. I think it's great for you to go to bed feeling like, oh my God, it's another day, like feeling tired.
That's the same as me then. Yeah, I've always got a lot going on.
My God, I love your background. My
Oh,
goodness.
thank you.
Tell me a little bit about it, like briefly. Tell me what's
Oh,
this
so
beauty behind you.
a lot of these are from like a presents from people. So obviously I'm a big nerd and I love like Marvel and Mortal Kombat and things like that. So some of these are presents. That is a piece of artwork that my friend did. I commissioned him to do like a Tim Burton Batman picture for me, and that's what he came up with.
Oh,
So this is like the background to my YouTube channel. This is what I. This is like
abs-
yeah, I
yeah.
just sort of moved it. I did used to do it over by my sofa, but the sofa came with the flat and it's like this horrible green color. So yeah, I got rid of that and did it here instead. But yeah, it's just like a little bit of me. I just like having all of my interests all in one place.
Amazing, amazing, very inspiring. My goodness. So tell me, so let's start the interview talking about your YouTube channel. So tell me how everything started, when the idea came along. Walk me through a little bit about the journey so far.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel started really in the pandemic. So I've always loved YouTube. I've always been a fan of like people just creating things in the house and then just sort of putting it out there and seeing who responds to it. So I had lost my job in the pandemic. I didn't have a job in I was working in TV for 5 years and
Wow.
they just didn't need my job anymore. It was, TV was shut down. Um, and yeah, I was just like, I've always loved YouTube, and I've got a lot of time on my hands. I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. And I started playing the Buffy the Vampire Slayer video game on YouTube,
Right.
just as something to do. And I knew that it was like it's an old game, but not many people know about it. So I've been playing it on TikTok. So every few nights I've been playing it on TikTok now, but that's how my YouTube started. And then I realized quite quickly that for some reason in my brain I just like easily get bored when I have to do the same thing, like when I'm forced to do something like that.
Right.
And I was playing it like two or three times, and I was like, I want to play something else. So I started a different game, and then I just decided that I was going to start doing list videos. And really, it was to help my confidence. It was to kind of bring me out of myself and sort of um, basically help with what I do outside of work, which is that I put on LGBT events outside of work.
Okay.
And they range from like club nights where me and my friends DJ to like live gigs with bands, drag
Oh,
nights, burlesque nights,
wow.
everything. So I usually do like at least one of those a month. I've just had my biggest one, which is the Halloween show.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and usually at the end of those shows, because I organize the whole thing, like I do all the marketing, I do all the posters, I do all the social media, I do everything. Um, my friend who hosts it, who's a drag queen host, gets me up on stage at the end, and I was always a bit like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to anyone," and I always get really embarrassed. And I was like, no, I have to combat this. Like, we're in the pandemic now. I have to, like, I just want to get a bit more confident in myself, just
Mhm.
because I think sometimes we get too hung up on the way that we look, and therefore how that translates to how you feel about yourself can sometimes come across in your confidence. And so I
Totally.
started the YouTube channel because I was in my house. No one could see me. So if I put it on YouTube, it didn't matter. And that's how it started. And so that has helped me with my events and it's helped me be a bit more confident. And I've since then, I don't mind getting on the microphone and in front of a crowd and just talking. It's not,
Wow.
yeah. So yeah,
I,
that's
I
how it started.
See, I totally relate to you. I think 2020 was the year where it was a year to remember or to forget. I think that 2020, besides the, the sadness, the, everything what was happening at the time, at the same time as well, a lot of creativity started, a lot of people, they found something that was hidden somewhere. And I can tell you, the show I started as well during this time,
Amazing.
2020.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
I
that. Yeah.
it's great for you to see, and it's fun enough because through my life I was already thinking, my God, what I came to this world for? You ask this question sometimes and you never got an answer. And and before the pandemic, I was already thinking about doing something on YouTube where I could express myself, I could, connect with people, but I didn't know what I could do. So
Nice.
2020 just hit, and suddenly everything started. So I think I totally understand your point, and it was a great year for people to to get to know themselves a little better and come up with some new ideas and creativity as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because I've started doing sort of list videos online where it's like me recommending films, and it's
Yeah.
just me watching like really niche films that people haven't heard of and then just recommending them. And people seem to have responded to that. And I get so many like comments and people recommending me movies to watch, and so that just kind of snowballed, and that helped my channel because it essentially gave me more content just because they kept telling me to watch things. So
Abs-
it's helped me like reach people where they're like, actually, I quite like what you're recommending, so I trust your judgment, and then they go and watch something. So it's like it's quite nice. It's a nice feeling.
it's like building a community, you know what I mean? That's how it works.
Yeah, I love that.
So Stu, tell me where are you from?
So I am originally from the Midlands.
Hmm.
I'm originally near Coventry, a place called Nuneaton, uh,
Okay.
and I managed to escape. And I've lived in Bristol since 2007.
Oh wow. And
Uh,
now you're sorry, carry on.
no, I was going to say I came here for uni. I came to Bristol for uni and sort of fell in love with the city, and then decided to move back a few years later.
Tell me, what's the postcard of Bristol in your opinion? What's the main place that everyone should see it one day when they visit the city?
Oh, I mean, it's usually the suspension bridge. Everyone goes to the Clifton suspension bridge. You go and see that. It's a really lovely setting, and it's got lots of like woods around it and the water going underneath it. It's just a really beautiful setting. But the best time to see it is in the summer because so Bristol is really well known for hot air balloons. So
Okay.
when you're out in the summer, there's just like you'll see about six hot air balloons at any time, all the
Oh,
time. It's always some in the air. And we have like a balloon fiesta where everyone sort of gathers around in this like huge field at Ashton Court Manor, and they set off all of the balloons. So there's probably about, I don't know, 50 of them, and they just come from
wow.
the sky. So these huge hot air balloons are everywhere. So that's what people come to Bristol for.
That's amazing. In this event during the summertime.
Yes, yeah. So it's usually in August, I think. And I mean, the best thing about that event as well is that at the night time, they bring all of the balloons back into this one place,
Oh
um,
my God.
and then they set off the flames in the balloons to music. So there'll be music going on. It'll be like the Star Wars theme or War of the Worlds or something, and they'll like toot the flamethrowers, and it lights up the balloons. It just looks really beautiful. So
Oh my God. I'd
yeah,
love to see that. I'd love to see that next year for
it's
sure.
lovely. Yeah, I really like it. It's quite cute to sort of go to something like that where everyone's all in the same place and just watching something. It's yeah, it's really lovely.
Oh my God. Now you just got me now. I really want to see that.
I love it. I love it here.
Okay, Stu. So before we start our journey within the magic box, I would like you to tell me something that made you smile or made you very happy this weekend.
Um, I
Something that happened.
I think something that made me smile. Well, I was quite ill last week, so I
Oh,
wasn't. I had a really like I had a bad flu, so this weekend was quite chilled for me. But I think the thing that made me smile was the fact that obviously the weekend before I'd done a big Halloween event,
oh
and
yes.
weekend everyone was sending me all of their footage and all of their photos from it. So just reliving that and just being like, wow, I sold 250 tickets to this big Halloween event, and yeah, it was beautiful. I had a really good time, and yeah, so that was what made me happy, like reliving that and being like, I was ill, but I was okay then, and that was great.
It's great when you see the response from people who participate somehow in some events that will be part of it. I think it's just great. It gives a great energy.
Yeah, it was lovely to see how many people dressed up as well. There was a lot of people like dressed up really, really elaborately. I thought it was great. It was fun.
Still, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song just for us to relax before the first question. All right?
Sure.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, you don't want to talk about, I always can change, okay?
Sure.
Amazing. First question for you is, when have you been the most happy?
Oh, wow. I think for me, I've started to travel solo. I decided a couple of years ago that I was sick of waiting for people to invite me to places or sick of having to like, oh, I should have a partner to go to these places with and stuff like that. And I lost my auntie in 2021 and we sold her house and I had a little bit of money from that and I took myself to New York
Wow.
for 10 days. I'd never been on a plane like that. I'd never been on a long haul flight, never been on holiday like that. And I
Wow.
just booked it. I was like, I'm gonna go and do this. I'm gonna do everything that I want to do. And I feel the most happy, I think, when I'm proud of myself for doing something like that. And it wasn't until I got to New York and I remember coming out of the subway and there was like these huge buildings with all the billboards and stuff and there's like smoke coming out of the grates and I'm like I'm in a movie. This is fantastic, you know. And I just felt really proud of myself that I was like, you're on the other side of the world in the city that you've always wanted to go to, and you're on your own with your own inner monologue. And I just had the best time. I made some beautiful friends as well. I've made some really lovely, like a nice queer group of friends in there. And I've visited them once before, and I'm going to see them in 2 weeks' time as well. So I'm going back.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love
Yeah,
the
so
way.
I'm proud of that. That's one thing that I really it makes me happy to know that I've taken myself on several trips now and just been like, do you know what? I'm just gonna go.
It's amazing. I love that. I've done that so many times on my own, and sometimes it's a good way for you to get to know yourself better as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it really is.
So tell me, what was the highlight of your trip to New York City? Tell me something that for you was like, wow.
I mean, so the Empire State Building, being at the top of the Empire State Building on Thanksgiving. So when I was there, like it was really beautiful. There was lots of like Christmas decorations going up and things like that. But because it was Thanksgiving and loads of people go and see their family, it was
Wow.
like the streets weren't so much deserted, but it was a lot less busy. So you could see a lot more and you could stay places a lot longer. And I got so much done in a day. But I went to the top of the Empire State Building on Thanksgiving and I was there for a good maybe hour and a half, just taking
Wow.
in all the sights. And it was wonderful. And I just remember thinking, I never thought I'd do this, but I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to stay for a little while and just take it all in. And it was wonderful. I had the best time. So yeah, that was probably a highlight of the trip. But I think the main highlight is the friends that I've made, like really, really lovely friends who took me on
Wow.
some incredible nights out. Just wanted to show me the city that you wouldn't see if you were a tourist. So yeah,
That's
I've got to say those are the things that I love about that trip, that first one.
Wow, beautiful. Growing up back in, I'm originally from Brazil, and growing up, when I started studying English, I was 12 years old, and I had a fascination about New York City. It was a dream for me to go to New York City, and this dream came true a few years ago. And you talking now, I can picture myself there, like, oh my God, I'm here in the center of the words, and
Amazing.
the moment for me when I realized that I was in New York City, it was when I saw, when you were walking the city, there was the traffic guards like controlling the traffic around the city.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I can see. I'm here now. I'm here now. That
Yeah,
was
it's like as soon as I got to Times Square and there was all the screens everywhere,
yeah.
just loads of video screens and stuff, and just seeing loads of like places that I'd seen in movies. And I just remember looking around and thinking, I'm in a film. This is great. It's so nice. I love it there. I love that city.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. All right, do it. Next question is, if you could have been in a moment or event in history, which one that would be?
Oh, wow. I mean, instantly, I would say like something like Live Aid. I'd love to go to something like a big concert like that, something that was just just made history. And obviously that was a massive thing. So anything that was, involves music but also is for a good cause. So Live Aid would have been amazing because I'm old enough to remember it, but watch it on TV. So I remembered like bits of it being a child and watching it on TV and thinking that looks amazing. But yeah, that's something that I'd love to go to. So anything involving music would be great.
Let's see that they are organizing right now like a Live Aid concert, and they would contact you, say, Stuart, you could choose anyone to be the main artist and this concert. Which person that would be? Which artist would choose?
Oh, I mean, that's a bad question to ask for me because I'm a really big fan of a band called Garbage, um, from the 90s. They're my favorite band. So instantly, if you ask any of my friends, they'll be like, "We know who we'd put on the top bill. It would be Garbage." So yeah, someone like that. Also, I mean, like, I don't know. I think just getting lots of sort of iconic bands either back together or getting people to sort of do their greatest hits. So I'd want people like the Spice Girls there, and I'd want people to like, I'd have like Rage Against the Machine next to Spice Girls and next to like Madonna, and then, have like Garbage and also, just lots of different music, and that'd really make me happy.
Amazing. Good. Next question. Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay, before the next question, back to your YouTube channel again. Tell me what has been the biggest joy for you to be since we started. What's been the biggest joy of doing it and the most challenging part, in your opinion?
I think the biggest joy is the sort of community part of it. So I really like the fact that people just started to respond to the sort of recommendations that was putting out. So whether it be mostly like horror movies, people have latched onto my channel as like a channel for horror movies. So whenever I do one of those videos, it does really well. And I've just managed to get so many good recommendations from people that it's sort of helped me grow the channel anyway, because they're giving me more content because they want me to watch something that they've recommended to me, and they
Yeah.
want to see what I think of it. So it's stuff like that. Like I really like the sort of the community part of it where people get excited when I upload something. There's like, only a couple of people who whenever I upload a video, they're like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this. And it's just really cute. I'd say the biggest challenge is learning the algorithm
Mm,
and learning to not be clever. Don't try and be smart because it doesn't work. I've tried it a couple of times where I was like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat," as you can probably see with the
right.
and then the new movie came out in 2021, and I made a video that was all about the sort of history of Mortal Kombat, and I was going to release it on the day that the movie came out, and no one saw it. No one saw it because there was so much content going out there. There's so
I
many people like
mm,
making content that all the big creators get all of the views, and then anyone that's left behind just, it doesn't get shown in the algorithm. I did something similar when X-Men 97 came out, the new animated series. I made an X-Men video games video, like a list video.
right.
Exactly the same thing happened. No one saw it. So
Oh,
don't try and be smart because it doesn't work unless you've got like a really huge following. Yeah, the biggest challenge is literally just doing something for you and putting it out there and hoping for the best, but don't try and be smart.
I like that, actually. I like that. And again, you just learn doing it. You didn't know that if you didn't go through.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a learning curve, but it did make me laugh that I was like, this is going to do great because it's the day that it comes out and I'm on it and I'm doing a great job. No, it doesn't work.
And I think as well, I just thought about now. I think sometimes as well, the YouTube itself somehow they promote the other channels, or somehow they made a way to, you know what I mean. There's always connection there. I understand your point. See, and how often do you put your videos? Like it depends. How do you have like a routine or not?
I do not. I wish I did. I should have. I think because of the other stuff that I do, because of the events that I put on,
Right,
it sometimes pushes the YouTube stuff to the side. And
right,
also, I don't always want to be on camera. I'm not going to lie. I have some days where I'm like, I don't feel too great today. I don't want to
oh,
be on camera. And because of the way that I've set up my videos, it's always me on camera talking about the movies. So,
right.
I've got to a point where I'm like, I am just going to make videos when I feel like I want to.
Great.
You know, when I'm in the right mood, when I'm in the right mindset, and that's when they seem to do the best. Like when I'm
Yeah,
really like in the moment and I'm feeling it and I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. As soon as I put something out that you can tell that I'm in it and like and that I'm sort of ready to make a video, they tend to do the best. There's a couple of videos where I kind of forced myself to make a video and I can see myself either like disassociate or or not enjoy it as much. And I'll leave other people to figure out which ones they are. But yeah, just I think it's got to be like when I feel right. And if I do get into a routine of it, like I've just passed the 1,000 subscribers threshold, so I'm going to start making money from it soon. And at that point, when I start getting money, then maybe I'll start making it more regularly. But right now, it's like whenever I feel like it.
all right. Next question for you is, I think this one is going to be easy for you. If you could live anywhere in the world, where that would be and why?
New York, New York. Yeah, it would probably be. I mean, I've visited a lot of places since. I've been to
Mhm.
Austin, Texas. I've been to Seattle. I've been to San Francisco.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Loved San Francisco. It was really, really lovely. Obviously super gay. Really, really great. Like just a nice vibe. A really lovely, like chilled out city. But for me, like it would be New York without a doubt. I haven't visited anywhere else yet, though. I've only like mainly been to America and obviously England. So when I start going to other countries, if I go to like Tokyo or somewhere, it might change. But right now, I just feel like a connection with New York, and I've found like I said, a really lovely group of friends, and also I love the fact that there's so many different suburbs to explore. There's loads
Yeah,
of things going on, and yeah, I mean like the music in Brooklyn is amazing. So yeah, it would be New York, I'm afraid.
amazing. Okay, next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, are you a cat or a dog person? And if you could be an animal, which one that would be?
Oh. Um, my cat is elsewhere. She's gone. So I've got a cat. She's all over my TikTok and sometimes on my YouTube. I've always been a dog person. So I grew up having golden retrievers. We had golden retrievers in the family, and they were
Okay.
beautiful dogs. Absolutely loved them. And we got this cat when I was with my ex. Um, and she just connected with me, and I love the fact that she's so chilled out. She's a big cat. She's big, fluffy, like half Maine Coon cat. Um, she's so ridiculously relaxed. Nothing phases her. So we've had fireworks going off, and she just sits in the window watching them. Uh, Nothing phases her. She just doesn't care, and she's so easy to look after, and so like just genuinely like a sort of really relaxing presence. I just love that.
Um,
So I haven't been a cat person before, but now I am. So I'm a bit of both. What was the second question? Sorry.
and if you could be an animal, which one that would be?
Oh wow. Um, I mean, I think I think something like a squirrel. I
Great.
think I'd really like just being like, you know, just being able to dart around and go up to a tree and just chill, and then, you know, come down whenever I want to, grab whatever food, and then go off again. And, you know, I think something like that. Something small because I'm not very small.
Tell me so far, what's the most meaningful lesson you've learned from your cats?
Um, I think for me, it's just to be really like present and
Mhm.
sometimes just chill. Because as much as she loves playing, she's very much like a dog in the fact that she likes to play fetch, and I always play hide and seek with her. She's played hide and seek with me ever since she was tiny.
I love it.
Yeah, she goes into another room and then she meows, and I have to go and pretend that I can't see her. And then she darts past me and goes into another room, and yeah, she does that. But I just like the fact that sometimes she just wants to sit next to you and just chill and just sits there, just
Wow.
really calm and just enjoys your company. And sometimes I forget that I don't have to entertain all the time. Like in terms of when people come round, if someone, if a friend comes round, I'm like, oh, my cat just likes to chill with me and just likes my company. And this is why this person has come round to as well. So I don't have to like constantly be, oh, let's do this, let's play video games, let's watch a movie. Sometimes we can just sit and chill, and it's quite nice to just be present. So I think that's what she's taught me. It's just like, actually, your company is enough. And I quite like that.
I love the energy of the cat. We have a cat here as well called Tiger, and it's and the energy that they bring to you. Sometimes even when you're not feeling very well, they know it. They feel
Yes.
your energy. They somehow they are there for you. I've got goosebumps now. It's very powerful. The energy of cats, the way they relate to us. They
Yeah.
protect us very well. They protect us very well.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said last week, I wasn't very well. I had a really bad flu. I had it from sort of Sunday onwards, and from Sunday night, she has slept on the bed next to me, and she
Okay,
normally doesn't do that. She has her own little cushion, or she goes in the other room sometimes. But no, she sat like by my feet at the end of the bed, and she's laid there every day. And I'm like, oh, you know that something's going on. Like it's nice. It was really
great.
cool.
3 questions left. Let's do it. You like dancing still?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So before the next question, tell me a little bit about the parties that you organize, the events that you organize. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I run something called Punker in Bristol, which is
Mhm.
Punka, and it's from the name comes from a song in the 90s from a girl band in the 90s called Kinnicky. So 7 years ago, me and a couple of friends decided that we were going to create like an alternative club night. Um, when I came out, so I came out a lot later in life at 33. And when I started going to sort of gay bars and clubs and things like that, I noticed that everywhere was just pop music, which pop music has its place. I totally get that, but I've always like had a quite a varied taste, but mostly liked like rock music or indie music or alternative stuff. That's just always been my thing. I love going to gigs. I love seeing bands. So that's why excited me. And there was nowhere that I could go for that really. There was a night in Bristol called Psychodrama that was just sort of wrapping up, and that was only every few months. So me and a couple of friends created Punker, and the first one was in the Queen Shilling, which was a gay club in Bristol. And it was an ACT UP fundraiser. So ACT UP being the sort of AIDS charity that sort of came about obviously in America with the AIDS pandemic. And it was a fundraiser for them, and it was our first one. So we DJ'd using our phones and Spotify. So we just plugged our phones in and scrolled
Wow.
through Spotify. It was very DIY and it was an absolute shambles, but it sold out. Like it was so busy. Um, and ever since then, so the friends that I started it with, they basically just didn't have the time to keep it going, and I loved it. Like it made me so happy that I was bringing so much sort of joy to people who had finally sort of got a place where they were sort of listening to music, and it wasn't a night that was specifically centered towards a certain demographic, because most sort of gay club nights are geared towards like cis gay men. That's it. Whereas mine, sort of punker, was more like a queer night. So it was for queer women, and it was for trans people, and it was for bisexual people, and it was for asexual people. It was for everyone, and it was just a place for them to listen to alternative music and see alternative drag. So we had like performances at the beginning, and then I think we did two or three of the club nights. It was every 2 months. And then I started to have people come up to me in the DJ booth and say, "Oh my God, you're playing the music that I love. I'm in this band and we can never get gigs because it's like we're four girls and they never put us on at gigs, or we're in a queer punk band and no one gives us gigs in Bristol." And I was like, "Oh, I used to put on gigs years ago. Many years ago, I managed a band for a little while in my spare time, so I was used to that kind of world. So I decided that punker was going to do gigs as well. So I put on a small punk gig, a queer punk gig. It was three bands, and we had I basically wanted to have a drag queen or king as a host. So it'd be like
Right.
a punk cabaret where the host would be obviously in drag, but they would introduce the artists, introduce the bands, and they kind of keep the show flowing. Because then you don't get that awkward stage of like when a band finishes and they're like, "Yay!" and then people have to stand and watch them take all their kit away, and you've
Right.
got this drag persona who's like, "Okay, so they've just finished. Go and buy their album. You can get them on here. They're playing hit this place. Go and get a drink. We'll be back in 15 minutes." And it keeps the show running, but it also
Yeah.
gives it that extra queer element of being like, "Oh wait, I love drag, but I never get to see bands," and so it's a bit of both. Um, and it just kind of snowballed. So now it's a bit of everything. So I do all sorts of things. I do the bigger shows once or twice a year, where it used to be I did like Pride after parties.
Right.
It was an official Bristol Pride after party, or one of them. And it was the only place where you could get like alternative music. So it was quite busy. Like we used to sell out every year. And because of that, I started doing the Halloween show. So the Halloween's become like a big thing. So now I have my own stage at Bristol Pride because of Punker.
Oh, wow.
So we have the Uplift stage, which is basically me programming live music for the stage, and it's through
Amazing.
the Punker banner. So it's been incredible. Like, yeah, 7 years on, and I absolutely love it. I love doing all of the promo. I love making all the posters. I love booking all the acts and working with bands. I've got one of the band's t-shirts on. Yeah, it's just been such a huge part of my life, and it's created like a chosen family for me as well. So loads of the performers are like my closest friends now. Loads of the people who are in bands, I've been to festivals with them. I like people who I've booked. So one of the artists that I booked, I went to stay with in Seattle. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's changed my life. Just making this hobby, like it's completely changed my life, and I love it so much. I got to collaborate with Spotify a couple of years ago, so Punker has its own actual Spotify playlist, like an official one.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, it's crazy. I love it. I do. I wish I could make money from it. I don't.
Amazing. I'd like to see one day. I'd like to come and see one day for sure.
Just yeah, I've got my last one of the year is next week, which is a club night. It's a Buffy ball, so it's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer ball. And then next year I've got lots of gigs coming up, but I can't announce anything yet because
Of course, of
wait
course.
wait until January's over when people have got money.
Amazing. All right. Next question is, what's your funniest memory of your time at school?
Oh, leaving. Leaving school. I hated school. I hated it. I was in a Catholic school. It wasn't very nice. It was very strict. Um, I was an artist. I loved to draw, and there wasn't much support for it. So whenever,
Right.
because I wanted to draw comic books, and illustrations, my art teacher hated that.
Oh
And
no.
she told me that it was for babies and that there was no there was no career in it and there's no skill in drawing comics. Um, little did she know, obviously, 20 odd years later, like Marvel is the biggest brand in the world. So, jokes on her, but she still, yeah, she kind of quashed that love of comic books for me for a little while. So I didn't like being in high school because it didn't kind of, I don't know, it didn't feed me in any way. College was a different thing. Loved college. That was amazing. I went to art college and had the best time. But yeah, I don't have many fond memories from school. So I'd say my fondest memory was getting my exam results and getting out of there.
And for you, you mentioned before that you came out quite late. But did you, growing up, did you have the support of your family? Did you know that you were gay, or how did it happen for you?
Yeah, I mean, always knew I was gay. Always had the biggest crush on He-Man when I was little. Um, yeah, always knew that I was gay and didn't really understand it. And because I was in a small town and growing up in the 80s and 90s where it wasn't very good to be out, it wasn't, like it was strange sort of knowing that this part of me was wrong as quote unquote, even though everything that you saw in terms of, especially in terms of the music industry, in the 80s, everyone was gay.
I
Everyone
love it.
for the pops
Yeah,
was gay. We had like Jimmy Somerville and George Michael and Freddie Mercury and like
Elton John, all
jazz.
those.
Yeah, like just everyone was gay. But for some reason that was okay, but in real life not so much. So
Yeah,
I didn't really reconcile with it. I didn't really understand it because I was in a small town and there was nothing um
to
that
support. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
there's nothing that sort of twigged where I was like, oh, I don't think this is going to be okay. And then so to be honest, I sort of figured it out when I was in college. And I think one of the first people that I ever tried to come out to was my dad. And my parents were separating at the time, so they were going to go through a divorce. And I remember going to the cinema with him. We went to watch The Faculty, the horror movie, and he hated it because he hates anything that's remotely fantasy or science fiction. And we pulled up outside the house, which was their house, which is now my mum's house. And we had this big conversation about the fact that we just don't have much in common. And he started reeling off all these different things that he didn't really like about me. And he was like, "Oh, and I feel like you draw these silly comics." And I had hair then, and it was like crazy colors. And he was like, "Oh, and you're over emotional. I feel like I'm raising a puff." And I was like, "Oh, well,
mhm.
I think you are." And he was like, "Oh." Well, I don't want to know anymore then. And I haven't seen him since, to be honest with you. I literally haven't. The last time I saw my dad was 1999, I think, maybe. And I think that itself, because I'd spent so much of my life like trying to sort of look up to him and please this person who I could never please because we were so different. Um, my brain just kind of locked part of my sexuality away because I was so scared that because he was like, don't tell your friends, don't tell your mum because you'll lose them as well. And I was like, okay, what do I do now? So for a while, I just kind of, I think my brain was just like, nope, can't do that anymore. And it took many, many years for me to kind of get to the confidence of like, oh, okay, you really are gay and you really should be happy. And you really should be looking for a place that makes you happy. And when I came to Bristol and everyone was really creative and super gay here, it kind of made me feel a bit better. And when I moved back here permanently, it took a few years for me to sort of get a group of friends together that I trusted enough to come out to them. And like I say, I didn't come out until I was 33, which is a long time. And, obviously part of me regrets it, but I also wouldn't be the person I am today without all of that shit. So, punker wouldn't exist, and neither would all the nice things that I get from my life now. Um, but yeah, I'm like I said, I haven't seen my dad since, really. I think it's just kind of. changed a lot of relationships for me, and the way that I see people. I've learned a lot from that experience, basically.
Have you forgiven him?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I don't even really think about it now. Like some people are like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and I'm like, "No, this is the past. Like it's happened."
Totally. Yeah.
Um, I think sorry. I'm still getting over my flu, so I've like taken something to give myself a voice. Um, so I think the thing that I learned is that we give people titles, and that title sometimes holds way too much weight. So you give someone a title of like father, mother, whatever, and the problem is you don't necessarily know who that person was before you gave them that title. They might be a shitty person, and just because you give them that title doesn't necessarily mean they're going to change. It doesn't mean that they're going to step up. Sometimes they do. Sometimes people think, oh yeah, now I've got some responsibility. I need to change. I need to be a better person. It doesn't always happen. And I think sometimes we give people these titles like, mother, father, godfather, grandparent, spouse. Sometimes we give people a little bit too much credit, and we're like, oh yeah, they're my partner, so they couldn't possibly, cheat on me, do nasty things to me, take advantage of me. Sometimes we need to just take people's actions as the biggest sort of way of them showing us who they are. And I think because my dad hasn't really made much effort to reach out to me, and likewise I haven't to him, because I know that we
Yep.
don't have anything in common, and because of the way he thinks about who part of who I am, um, I've forgiven that part of it, but I don't think I need it, you know.
I see. I see.
Um, a lot of people will say to me, "Oh yeah, but wouldn't you want to like reconcile, or don't you want to see him?" Like, actually, no. I think I'm all right. And my mum's fantastic, like wonderful. I've always had like a really weird relationship with my mum because we're so similar. So we used to clash when I was younger because we have
Yeah.
like we're both very geeky. So all of this stuff, that's what her house looks like as well. Um, so it wasn't until I started to understand the woman that she was before she was my mum that I actually got to basically kind of learn who this person is and be like, oh yeah, so you're my mum, but also you were this person and this person, and you used to go to live gigs and you used to go to see horror movies and watch Bruce Lee movies in the cinema, and all these different things that basically meant that I understood her more and I understood people a lot more as well, because I was like, oh wait, if I take this title away and just get to know you, we get along much better because she's still my mum, but I also understand her as a person. Does that make sense?
It does. And I understand your point as well. I totally understand your points too, because, sometimes like, for example, my dad as well, he's been a great dad. He raised me really well. I had everything I needed to know, but we never had this connection that some people they had with their parents. And growing up, I never understood that. And now I understand. For example, I don't have anything against him. I'm sure he doesn't have anything against me either. And we just don't have this, let's say, bound that some other people has. And it's not right or wrong. It's just the way it was, the way it is. He's not wrong and he's not right. I'm not wrong and I'm not right. So it's just the way it is. And I totally understand your point. And it's something that we cannot explain. It's just meant to be. And again, it just makes us the person we are today, and to understand more life, and to understand about more people as well. So
Yeah.
sometimes as well, it's not their fault because they don't even understand either those things. You know what I mean? So it's just something that there are no hate or sadness or anger or anything. It's just something that's not there. You know what I mean? Because other people has it doesn't mean that it's not like a rule that everyone needs to have. And also it's just a something it's normal to happen. I think a lot of people, they not just with their dad or their parents, but with their siblings or people that they've been in their lives. So it's just something that nobody can explain. It's just the way it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
exactly. And sometimes as well, I think going through the work of processing that, so processing the sort of
Yeah,
mourning period of that relationship, or having a little bit of anger for a little while and then
yeah,
working through that, you have to
totally.
do the work in order to grow. If you just keep on being bitter about it and keep being hateful and just holding on to all of that, you'll never
Doesn't take
grow. You'll never ever get any better.
Absolutely. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, Stu. Next question for you is, tell us something interesting about yourself.
Oh, oh God. I mean,
Something that not many people know about you. Something that,
not many people know. Oh, wow. So when I was young, I used to be like a weird thing is I used to be able to write and do other things with both hands. So I could like cut with scissors with both hands. I used to be able to write perfectly with both hands at the same time. That was always used to freak people out. And also when I was really young, I used to be this is the weirdest, it's the most stupid talent ever, but I used to be able to draw a straight line or a circle perfectly freehand
Oh my God.
just without just drawing it like that. And yeah, and people used to always think it was really strange. But yeah, I don't know how, and I tried to do it recently and I could still kind of do it like with a circle and stuff, but that was a really useless talent that I had when I was like doing art when I was young, where if I needed a certain thing to be incredibly straight, I didn't need a ruler for some reason, I could just freehand it.
Oh.
So that's a little weird little fact about me.
I'll tell you something. You just made me remember now. My mom, she can do the same as well. I remember her. She could write with both hands and to eat as well. I remember her sometimes. I was like, I do you use your straight like your other hand? She says, yes. Why? Oh my God, I never seen. I said, no, I can't do it. And I remember her writing as well the same way. It just made me
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
now.
So I'm naturally left-handed, but when I was younger, I used to be able to write with both. I don't think I could do it as well now because I used to
Yeah.
for some reason, I used to practice it a lot when I was really young. I'm an only child, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I just used to do stupid things like that. So I don't know whether I could do it now, but yeah, I mean, I always sort of write with my left hand, but I used to be able to like, I'd cut paper with scissors and use both hands all the time. And
Wow.
whenever I painted, I'd sometimes use my right hand, and it wouldn't really matter. So it was, it was just something that I could do. And as I gotten older, I don't think it's become very useful, so I've stopped.
Interesting. Yes, made me remember now. I remember my mom as well writing both hands. Wow. I forgot. I forgot about that. Now you just made me remember.
I love it.
Last question. Ready?
Sure.
Let's do it. Last one. But before the last question, I'm gonna put you in a very difficult situation right now. Right. All those characters that you have behind you, like beautiful, yeah. Let's see, something happened. You just can take one of them. Like whatever you go, you just need to take one of them with you for different reason. Which one that would be? And you can take and show me close to the camera, please.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like because they're all most of them are presents. So most of them are either like, friends or my mom or my ex has bought me.
Right.
Um, and
For any reason, you
I
go
would
like, okay,
say probably Storm from the X-Men.
okay,
There's not enough sort of statues of her in that costume, in her original costume.
right.
And when it came out, I just like I had to buy it instantly, so I pre-ordered it, and it just makes me really happy. So it'd probably be Storm. I think it looks really fierce. Did you want me to get it down?
It's okay for you or not? It's okay. Just to show me
Right.
close.
Okay, hang on.
I just want to see closer. Oh, now I can see. Now I can see it. Yeah.
She's probably covered in dust. You know that, don't you? But yeah, this one.
Oh, I see. Now I can see.
So,
Wow,
uh,
beautiful,
yeah, she's covered in dust.
beautiful.
But yeah, original costume Storm. For
Amazing.
some reason, like the X-Men, well, not for some reason, I know why the X-Men have always um sort of been my favorite comic. It's because they're basically an allegory for being gay. That's the whole point, that they're born different, and that's why people don't like them. But
I,
Storm was a
I
character.
love, yeah, I love the X-Men.
Yeah, Storm was always a character that I just thought just looked so fierce. Obviously, she looks incredible with the white hair and just like the way that they draw her, years ago, she looked very much like a sort of African goddess. That was the whole point of her. You know, I think over the years they've tried to sort of make her look a little bit more Caucasian, and now they're going back to how she looked originally. But for some reason, just loved that character. The fact that she had so many abilities, like just be able to control the weather. So yeah, Storm and Magneto were always my favorite, which is why I've got the Magneto
Yeah.
bust, helmet, and all sorts of things. But yeah, it would be this one. I think if I could, if there's one thing that I could save, it would be my Storm statue. That would be going with me, and the cat.
Amazing.
She's good.
Last question is, would you ever get a tattoo and what that will be?
So I don't have any tattoos, but there is a tattoo that I've always wanted that I will get at some point. So it's going to be like a half sleeve, so along this arm. And I've always wanted all of the swords or weapons from all of my favorite comics, video games, movies, almost like a sort of rain of swords, just like in
Yeah.
different sizes, different, some of them in shadow, just to give it some depth, but all of them, so something um that you can kind of see instantly. So you could see, like, you know, He-Man's sword and Thundercats and Zelda and, you know, Final Fantasy and all these different things, you know, Buffy and things like that, you know, all of them just represented on my arm, I think would be really nice. Hopefully no one will hear this and decide that they're going to have it because I would be so upset. But that's what I want. I think because I could do it in stages as well. So I could have like lots of little ones done all together. But yeah, that's what I'd want. I've always wanted that, and at some point I'll find someone who can do it justice because it has to be like fine line work. So that's what I'd want. But yeah, do
You
you
need to
have
start.
any?
You need to start getting done now because the interview gonna go and you're gonna need to
Yeah,
rush now.
exactly. That's the problem. Yeah. Do you have tattoos?
I don't actually, and it's funny you saying that because I find beautiful tattoos in people. I think it's such a beautiful way for people to express themselves through tattoos. Great. I never thought, I'm so scared about the pain. However, the older I get, I start to consider as well. I want to do these lines, maybe like start with a line or something around my arms or something very discreet for me to, but yeah, I start considering maybe the name of my godson, somewhere, I don't know, but I start to consider it for sure.
Do it. Do it.
Right, so the yet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words, just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with family.
Ooh. Chosen.
Money.
Nice.
Fear.
Good.
Life.
Tough.
Love.
Love. Happens.
Religion.
Never.
Sex.
Happens.
Politics.
Minefield.
Friendship.
Family.
Desire.
Helpful.
Regret.
Not helpful. Unhelpful.
Success.
I don't know. Consequential.
Wish.
Fulfilled.
Happiness.
Achievable.
One word for Bristol.
Balloons.
Of course, of course.
Hot air balloons. It's not one word, but balloons.
One word for England.
Rain.
One word for am I saying like what's the name of your YouTube? Is YouTube? That's the name of your
YouTube. So yeah, I was really unoriginal and I was like, my name is Stu and it's YouTube StewTube.
I love it. So one word for YouTube.
Geeky.
One word for the horror movies.
Ooh, niche.
Interesting. And the last one, just remind the name of your parties that the events that you do sometimes.
Yeah, it's called Punker. I should have won
Punker.
it.
Okay. Okay, so one word for punker.
Ooh. Variety.
I love that. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your mom for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, define stew in one positive word and one negative word only. What should say?
Oh, I think positive. She would probably say kind.
Okay.
She tells me that a lot, so she tells me I'm kind. Um, uh, Negative, I think she would probably say worries. I worry a lot, so like just about silly things. I obsess about things that I shouldn't. So I think she would say that. She'd probably say he worries.
Interesting. Actually, back to the word association game again. One word for New York City.
Ugh. Um, Eclectic. Yeah, eclectic. It's a bit of everything, isn't it?
Let's play now, Stu, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Hey, Stu, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, I want to know, what does pride mean to you?
What a great question, my God. What a great question. Right, you put me in the spot straight away because I was expecting that and I love it. What pride means to me. Wow. Okay, I think pride, it's very personal. I think pride is something that it's okay, it's something real about you. Pride is something that nobody can tell you what's right or wrong. You know, nobody can try to change that or try to make you understand a different way. I think pride is about you. It's about what you feel. It's about your truly self. I think it's something that you need to always embrace it. Yeah. I know sometimes it's not easy because of so many reasons. Yeah. Society, religion, or politics, or people, could be anything. However, I think pride is something about you that you always need to respect as well, because it's something about you. So you need to respect yourself. You need to respect. I've got goosebumps now saying that because it's so true. It's about, I think pride is respect. I think if you're going to think about pride, it could be any kind of something that you are related to, something that you believe, something that you think is right for you, and something that you stand up for. I think, I think we have different prides. I think and I think it doesn't matter what means pride to Stu, to William, to other people, but the respect needs to be always over there. So I think pride is something that you need to always, always, always be proud of it, and always understand that it's about you. Yeah, it's about you. And I think you should always stand up for it, in a very good way, in a very respectful way, and and try to not to change other people's mind, but just trying to make them understand that something about you. It's something that's, you don't need to do anything about it, just to respect it. So I think for me that's the meaning of pride.
Love it. That's great. Love that. Yeah, thank you.
You put me right this spot. I was expecting that. I'm sure, I think over 1,300 interviews, nobody asked me that still. So wow, amazing. Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's
Thanks.
nice. I mean, it doesn't happen very often that people want to interview me for the things that I've done that like that. It's really lovely. I've been a guest on my friend's horror podcast a couple of times and really enjoyed it. So this has been really nice. Thank you.
Thanks again, and I'm so grateful that you accept the invitation as well. I think it's amazing for you to, I love your passion talking about, your parties, your events, and actually, I really would like to come one day, and also about the balloons. Oh my God, you put that in my mind right now, because I don't think I've been to Bristol before, if I'm not wrong. However, I didn't know about the balloons, and I love those events where people, they are literally, you know what I mean, put some music on, they're doing something, about it. I love it. I love balloons. So yeah, for sure, next year I'll be there.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, come along and see. It's like, I
For
love
sure.
the city. It's so lovely. It's so like creative, and it's so friendly, and it's so silly, and it's very queer. So yeah, I think you'll have a great time.
When you find out about it, when you see some of, you have the dates and everything, if you don't mind, just give me a shout or something. I would love to organize myself to come for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll come and meet you.
Amazing. You're gonna show me. I'm gonna come with you so we
Yeah, no
can
problem. Of course.
together. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Yeah, I think if you don't see something that you want to see, create it. So whether that be like I've done with Punker, if you're in a town where you really want to play Dungeons and Dragons, if you really want to join a running club, if you really want to, put on a night that's only plays country music, just do it yourself. Like if you don't see it, just do it
Yeah,
yourself, because chances are that there's other people out there who also want to do that and are too scared. So if you
uh-huh.
just take the leap, you'll probably find that there are a lot of people out there who want to form that community with you or want to work with you. So yeah, if you don't see something out there, just make it yourself.
Amazing. Very good. Thanks again and enjoy your trip to New York City. My God, I'm sure you have the blast there for the second time.
It's a week on Sunday. I can't wait. So I'm going to New Orleans first and then New York.
Right.
So yeah, two trips in 10 days.
Oh, wow. Take care, enjoy your time, and keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay? Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Bye, bye.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.